Murphy from Wolfpack Games. I know you guys are used to hearing me say from PiratesAhoy.net. However, this time it's all about myself and Trunks, the other developer that was working on Hearts of Oak, and Flannery, the composer that makes all this fantastic music. We have struck out and started our own game studio called Wolfpack Games. So pretty much from now on you're going to be hearing about Wolfpack Games and Letters of Marque, which is the game I'm going to be showing you today. So I wanted to just give you a quick rundown of what Letters of Marque is. I don't want to get into too much detail about it. If you want to know more about the gameplay style and some of the more unique features of it, I'm going to have a couple of links inside the comments or in the description below. So what I'm going to do is just give you a quick run through of what we've got so far. We are at the 5-week development point, and at 5 weeks we've got quite a bit done. And it's just a quick overview. This is a battle game. It's all about ships in battle. You can kind of think about it as War Thunder for Age of Sail, so you're going to be able to get ships for certain nations and customize them, upgrade your crew, add officers to them. It's going to be all about your management and your tactical capabilities, and making sure that your crew isn't worn out, your officers are in good shape, things like that. So anyway, like I said, I'm not going to get into too much detail on the actual game itself. What I want to show you is where we're at right now. So like I said, we're at 5-week point. As you can see, we've got some ships in, we got water in, we got a whole new water system as of last week. We completely rebuilt the way the ships work and all the capabilities of them. So I'm going to show you a couple of quick battle scenes and just show you that we've got the particles in place, we've got damage systems working, and kind of give you a rundown on the UI and some basics on that. So I'm going to go ahead and start a single player game, which is all we've got the option right now. You can change the time of day that you want. And as you can see, I like afternoons for a lot of the videos because it looks really nice. You can change the cloud cover. The clouds actually respond to the sun. The sun will put shadows on the water for the clouds. It's a pretty cool feature. So I'm going to leave it on heavy. And let's go ahead. Because I'm driving a really large ship, we're using the HMS Victory as a test vessel, which is going to be one of the largest ships in the game. It's got about 3,200 tons of displacement. So it's a very heavy ship to move around, and it's going to be one of the slowest ones in the game, so we're kind of using that as a benchmark for what's the kind of worst case scenario. I'm going to leave it as light, and so what it's going to create is a world that has about 18 knot winds, between 18 and 22, and it's going to give it light, meaning that there's light seas with heavy cloud cover and an afternoon. This will be all optional for creating your own games, so we're going to go ahead and jump in here. And what you're going to see is there are 3 English ships and there are 3 Spanish ships. Right now we've got 2 Spanish brigs and a Spanish Victory, and then for the player side we've got a Ally Victor and an Ally brig. This ship that I'm sailing right now used to be a brig, and we just haven't gotten around to either swapping out the AI to be a Victory or eventually putting this back to being a brig for right now. But you can see we've got some particle effects in place. These 2 Victories are up here duking it out. They're going to beat the crap out of each other for a little bit. Typically the British one wins because for some reason the Spanish one only likes to fire a couple of the batteries and leaves off one. It's an AI issue we're working on. But I'm going to show you this is your basic camera control. It's third-person view for now, and it's also able to be controlled by a controller. So everything in the game is designed to be very accessible. Like right now I'm using my mouse, I'm right-clicking and it's dragging around. I can also zoom in and zoom out. So you've got a lot of view around you, which we're going to try to make this work with a VR system, with the Oculus Rift. It's going to be down the road. But it's really going to be when you get close, the sails are going to fade out so that you can look through your rigging essentially. And then eventually we're going to have on-deck views where you can actually select a view on deck and jump down to the deck level and look around. We're not really planning on having any like interactable characters or anything. You're not going to walk around on the deck. It's not going to be a first-person type of game. It's going to be specifically, it's all going to be about just the battle portion and management of your crew and things. Probably turn before I run into another Victory there. Now the model that we're using on this as far as the physics is what I consider to be a compressed time realism. And this is going to allow us to shift the game between being arcade-ish, where time is heavily compressed, ships turn quickly, they accelerate quickly, they stop quickly, to, like in this mode here, we're at about a 50 times what a realism would be. The real HMS Victory in 18 knot winds would get approximately 6.5 knots of top speed, And it does that, except in the real world it would take you about 2.5 hours to get to that top speed because of the interaction between the wind pressure and then the hull drag. Well, in the game we don't have 2.5 hours for someone to get up to top speed. So what we've done is I've taken the same exact formulas that are used for realistic drag and realistic compression for, or realistic pressure for the winds, and compressed them down so that they have a little bit faster response time. And what you end up with is you get very realistic feeling motion to the ships, and you're not having to wait 2.5 hours to get up to speed. So it does turn very slowly, and I'll kind of give you a rundown of what the UI is showing you up here. We've got the UI in this top corner. This is our what we call the battle UI, and it's pretty much everything that is the basics. So this is where you're going to have like your rudder controls, which is that little diamond moving back and forth. And eventually you're going to have a chaser bar, a little chaser diamond that'll follow it around where your actual rudder is. This is the rudder order. This is telling you, you know, where we're saying, like you can go hard to starboard, hard to port. But in reality, this is actually a rudder that's trying to keep up and catch up with your order itself. So you're going to have a chaser bar catching up with you. These outer rings on here, that's going to be your armor, and it's going to be a very simple quadrant damage system. So as your armor gets beaten down, once your armor is down, this bar here, which is the health, which is working, is going to start to deplete. And that is where you're going to start losing crew, you're going to start losing guns. Anytime one of the armors has been knocked completely down, or even down towards its lowest point, that's going to allow more shots to penetrate through and cause damage interior-wise, which is where you're going to have more problems. So this little mini-map here is going to have all your nearby ships that allow you to zoom in and out eventually. This is your wind angle showing you where the wind is coming from. This is the wind speed. This is your current speed right here. This bar on the right is your sails. That tells you where your sail settings are. You've got topsails, battle sails full, and then you've got the ability to have studding sails. As you can see, the sails don't respond yet. We don't have the animations in place for this ship. This is a placeholder, so we're not going to put too much more work into it. This on the left-hand side is your guns. This is the elevation of the guns themselves. So we can crank them all the way up and we can fire, and you're going to see water splashes way off in the distance versus, there they are right there. And of course you can see as we rock and roll, the water splashes change where they're hitting. Versus if you want to bring them all the way down, we'll wait until the guns are reloaded here. This is your gunnery UI. This is just showing you what your current gun status is. Okay, so at minimum elevation, now we're hitting the water nearby. So this is just real quick idea what the elevation is going to do. Now all guns in this battery set are responding to that elevation command. So every gun is at that elevation. This is just showing you a quick look at how many guns are available and then what their reload status is. So as soon as that light turns green on it, that means that gun is ready to fire at that time. And of course everything is really compressed right now. This is about 10 times faster, 20 times faster than a real gun would reload. And then this here is going to be the icon for what shot you've got in the gun. So if you reloaded your shot, you can actually just click on these icons and switch out which shot you're going for. Right now they don't work. We haven't got the new shots in place, but we do have the icons ready to respond. So that's just a quick idea of what we've got. Now the really fun part is that we've got the ability to really send some fun weather out here. So if we go to choppy and then go to let's leave it on storm, and then we'll go to say an overcast, and well, we'll just make it we'll make it noontime. That way it's nice and bright. And this should give us about the same 18 knot winds. No, yeah, exactly 18. But now you can see that the seas are much more aggressive. The ships are really bouncing around now. So your shots are going to really have to be timed correctly in order to get rounds on target. So it's going to be just a lot of fun to sail in the same locations, in the same positions, same ships, but have different conditions to sail around in. So anyway, this is just kind of, let's say, a quick overview. I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on this one because we want to get more in depth with each individual feature later to kind of get into it. But I do want to say we'll really get more into the historical versus arcade aspect of this later on. So if you have any questions about that, make sure to leave them in the comments, and we'll try to answer them as well as quickly as we can. But for the most part, this is going to be a very in-depth process, so we're going to put together an FAQ on the coming website this weekend. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And remember to go to wolfpackgames.co, or you can go to our page over at IndieDB and look for Letters of Marque and Reprisal. Thanks.